तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवानी। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। जनक विदेही कहकर जब बाबा ने तुम्हें पुकारा, पल भर में तुमने वैसा ही अपना स्वरूप धारा। पालन करती रही सदा तुम बाबा की समझानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। ओम शांति का मंत्र आपने अर्थ सहित उच्चारा। स्वयं प्रभु और घर की याद का देती रही इशारा। बांटे तुमने वरदान सभी को बन कर के वरदानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दुनिया की कई भाषाओं से थी आप सदा ही भोली। सबको दिया प्रभु ज्ञान आपने बोल के प्रेम की बोली। शक्ति सभी में भरती रही तुम देकर दृष्टि रूहानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। त्याग तपस्या सेवा आपकी सच में बड़ी निराली थी। नहीं कुछ भी पास में रखा फिर भी सारे जहां की वाली थी। कभी भूल ना पाएंगे हम तेरी याद सुहानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवाने। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवाने। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी।
मगन आज मन है, पुलकित पवन है, ये गुंजित गगन है। प्रभु की प्रतीक्षा में सारा भुवन है, आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है। मिलन की लगन मगन आज मन है। धड़कन की तारे उससे जुड़ी है, राहों में अपलक निगाहें गड़ी हैं। धड़कन की तारे उससे जुड़ी है, राहों में अपलक निगाहें गड़ी हैं। घड़ी सघन है, घड़ी ये बड़ी दे रही सुख सघन है। आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है। मिलन की लगन में मगन आज मन है। सर्वत्र ढूंढा, जन्मों जन्म जिसको जी भर के पूजा। युगों से जिसे हमने सर्वत्र ढूंढा, जन्मों जन्म जिसको जी भर के पूजा। ना कोई दूजा मेरा प्राण धन है। दृष्टि से सृष्टि सजने लगी है, वरदानों की वृष्टि होने लगी है। दृष्टि से सृष्टि सजने लगी है, वरदान हर अंजुमन है, महका चमन चहका हर अंजुमन है। आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है, मिलन की लगन में मगन आज मन है। पुलकित पवन है, ये कुंजित गगन है, प्रभु की प्रतीक्षा में सारा भुवन है। आंगन में शिव का ये शुभ आगमन है, मिलन की लगन में मगन आज मन है।
Om Shanti. Good morning. So, this morning, it's Murli. It sort of is a continuation of a theme that Baba has been highlighting the last few days in this week, actually. And one of the things Baba said is that when there's recognition, then there's love. And it's a very deep thing in a way, because it's almost like when we really
Om
have
Shanti,
that
Pratiba bhai.
awareness, who is it that's really teaching me?
Pratiba
Whose
bhai.
knowledge is this in a way? And what is Baba here to do for me? One is Baba's here to transform the world, but Baba's here to personally help me return to my original stage. So when we keep that awareness of who Baba is and what he's here to offer me and what is his teaching for me, then that recognition inspires a very deep love. It like awakens a love in the soul. When we really have that feeling of what Baba's doing for me, then how can I not love him? And Baba's saying that when love is awakened, then we can sustain remembrance. Because remembrance is really the method Baba gives us. We all have a variety of sanskaras, and we know that we're on this journey of transformation. But again and again, the method always points to the same thing, and that is man mana bhava. Keep your mind with me constantly. And I think that's the challenge for us, isn't it? Because we keep our mind with Baba and then it slips away again. And it's this whole thing of constancy. But that's where, when love is deep, then because of the depth of that love, then it inspires that level of um, constancy in my remembrance. And
Om
I think
Shanti.
I remember one of my
Okay.
early trips to Madhuban, and it was a class that was being given by Daddy Gulsa. And Daddy was sharing. Many times Brahmins ask, say, Daddy, how do we, keep remembrance constant? And Daddy's response was, the question should be, how can I not remember? Because if there's love, then the heart naturally gets full, you know. And so I think in many ways, to check that ability to sustain that remembrance of Baba, I have to really see that, what do I allow to come between Baba and me? What are still the distractions that pulls the soul? And yes, we have to be functional in the world. We have to do what we need to do, fulfill our responsibilities and all of that. But like Baba's remembrance should be in the background always, you know. When I cook a meal, I'm cooking this in Baba's remembrance. I'm cooking it for Baba's children. Whatever I do, there should be that feeling that it's Baba behind me. It's Baba's remembrance that's supporting me. It's Baba's remembrance that is inspiring me. What's the problem? Sounds not good. Speaking straight into the mic. Hello, is that better?
Pratiba Ben, can you hear us? Pratiba Ben?
Om
Can you hear
Shanti,
us?
is that better? Okay. I'll put it in the chat if it's not. Okay. So just to be aware that, like Baba's remembrance should always be something that's motivating me in everything that I do. And I think in some ways I've seen that with the daddies. Whenever the daddies spoke or shared anything, it was always that it's Baba, Baba's task, Baba's children. Cool. No, let's just, okay, just Kapubi, put more data on that thing then. Okay. Let me just see. Hello.
Om Shanti Ben, can you hear us?
The main one doesn't give sound to Zoom. Zoom gets the sound from my little mic, which is here.
Okay, but we can
Is that
hear you.
better? Plug that in. Yeah, I'm going to respond through chat if it's better. It is better. Okay, thank you. Okay, so sorry about that. So yes, I think one thing that I observed through one thing that I observed through the daddies was that, it was so much in their consciousness that their lives were for Baba. So every step was, even the very practical things that they had to do, it was with this deep awareness and feeling that um, we are here for Baba, and so every step is in Baba's remembrance. So I really feel that the more we keep that attention, because that's what this Brahman life is all about. We have the knowledge, and it's just about maintaining that attention that I'm not taking from anything in a limited way. And that really it's Baba and Baba alone that is my sustenance, and that is the motivation behind everything that I do. Another aspect that was really lovely that Baba's raising in today's Murli, and that Baba's saying that when there is that awareness, then there is power. And this was something that Baba raised in the Murli of the 23rd, I think, the division Murli we had, that when we sustain awareness, that is what emerges power within the soul. And what does power mean? How do we know that we're coming from a stage of power? And that really is that when there is power, then there is stability. There's no fluctuation. And when I mean by no fluctuation, it's in a sense that, there's the clarity internally, no confusion, no doubts, but there's just the deep feeling of just being connected. And there was a Murli that we had a few weeks ago of the 5 steps of Brahma Baba. And the 5th step was very powerful because, when we're coming from the right place, as Baba is saying, with that awareness and that um, deep stability and purity, then the sign of that as well is that my actions don't pull me. Baba spoke about being free as well. So I really feel that when there's power in the soul is liberated. That I don't get pulled by things and I don't get pulled by drama, but also my actions are so accurate that they don't create a pull on my conscience, that the soul is truly free. So this whole aspect, if that there's the right awareness, then there's power, samarth. So the Hindi words are lovely. Smriti is awareness, and samarth is that power within the soul. So it's a lovely connection. And I feel again and again, it is really that we need to check deeply that why is my remembrance not constant? And to see that what do I allow to come between me and my connection with Baba. And it ties in very nicely with something that, there's an international group of us that's working on an initiative called Shiv Shakti Leadership. And one of our first principles that we're exploring, that what is it that makes me a Shiv Shakti? The power of a Shakti is because of a connection with Shiva. That's the first principle. That the power of the soul can only really get awakened through that connection with one. So just again and again, it's just coming back to this whole sort of like a quiet chant in our mind, in a way that we need to have, that it should be just one Baba and none other, one support, one strength. And I love this expression that is in one of the drills that goes that when I make Baba my world, so the Hindi word is sansar. When I make Baba my world, my sansar, then Baba becomes my sanskars. So then my very expression becomes an expression of divinity because I've made God my world. And so again, to see, to what extent is God at the center of my world? And when I really make Baba the center of my world, then yes, there'll be power, there'll be consistency in remembrance. And I think another aspect that I like is that there's easy success. I don't go chasing after success. Success follows a soul. A soul that's powerful, whatever they do, there's success in that. There isn't a feeling of effort, but success follows that soul. And then you're in tune, you're working with the right energy. Because when they struggle, and when you feel like you have to work so hard for something to make something happen, then it's a sign to step back and to observe, to see, is my awareness accurate? Is my intention accurate? Is my remembrance consistent? So many subtle things to check. And I think it is really that our efforts now need to get refined and to go into that subtlety of things. So not to just fill in your chart to say, yeah, I've had my remembrance, I did my Prabela and I did my Murli, but to see, to what extent can I feel the power of that remembrance? And can I feel the success of that remembrance? So it is really about checking that subtlety and refining that effort and really being honest with the self in that regard. So as always, it's like the Murlis follows one to the other, and Baba spoke about ruling power, controlling power. And so today he's highlighting this whole as that it is love, love that sustains everything. So it's the Murli, the original date, the 13th of March, 1990. And the Murli is entitled The Unique Meeting of Souls with the Supreme Soul at the Confluence Age. So the meeting is a lovely word, milan. Milan means to meet. But when there's that meeting, it awakens that passionate love, which is lagan. And then I get merged in that experience, which is magan here. So it's milan, lagan, magan. It rhymes very nicely in Hindi. So today, the long lost and now found children who have met Baba many times have come to meet him once again. The father sees the children with that recognition. The Baba sees us and he knows this is my child of the last kalpa. A beautiful story that when Mama came, Mama's name was Radhe. And so Baba looked at her and he recognized who the soul is. And so he said, Mama, Radhe, he said, Radhe, will you become Radhe of the golden age? And she just smiled, but it was like that first meeting was that meeting of recognition. So father sees the children with that recognition, and the children too are meeting with the awareness of having met many times before. This meeting of souls with the Father, the Supreme Soul, is a unique meeting. Throughout the entire cycle, no other souls are able to meet Baba with the awareness that they are meeting him once again, having met him many times before. Even though those founders of each religion came from time to time and brought their followers down from up above, they too do not meet with the awareness that they have been meeting for many cycles before and are meeting once again. So this feeling of I was yours, I am yours, and I will always be yours. That's the feeling we have when we meet Baba. No one except the Supreme Father can meet souls with this clear awareness. Even if you are meeting him in this cycle for the first time, as soon as you meet the old awareness, the old recognition, which is recorded in your souls as sanskaras, re-emerges. There is then the sound of this awareness in your heart. This one is my sane father. Children say, you are mine. And the father says, you are mine. This, the second that the thought mine emerges in that powerful awareness, in that thought, you found a new life and a new world, and you become stabilized in the awareness of my Baba for all time. In return for your becoming an embodiment of this awareness, you became an embodiment of power. So underline that, that really it is in return of becoming an embodiment of that awareness. Baba, I am yours, you are mine. You became an embodiment of power. You have become embodiments of power, have you not? You are not embodiments of weakness, are you? To the extent that you maintain this awareness, accordingly, you automatically claim the right to power. So it's like that surrender of mind and intellect to Baba gives me the right to power, because that's pure power, power through remembrance, power of pure love. Where there is this awareness, there definitely is power. When you forget this awareness, even slightly, there is waste. Whether it is in wasteful thoughts, wasteful words, or wasteful actions. Therefore, Bapdada sees all the children with the vision of every child being an embodiment of this awareness. And so, an embodiment of power. You hear about the devotees remembering you even until today. You brought into your awareness my Baba. And what the devotee souls remember is my specially beloved God or Goddess. Just as you remembered the Father with deep love in your hearts, in the same way, devotee souls remember you, the specially loved souls, with deep love in their hearts. Among you Brahmin souls, some remember with a loving relationship in their hearts, whereas others repeatedly try to experience a relationship in their heads on the basis of knowledge. So knowledge is important, is the starting point, but then it has to move to the heart. It's like the heart has to awaken to my relationship with Baba, not just my understanding. Understanding is the first step. Where there is love in the heart and a relationship of deep love, that is where there is great closeness, it is difficult to forget to have remembrance. Where there is just a relationship on the basis of knowledge and there isn't unbreakable love in the heart, remembrance is sometimes easy and sometimes difficult. Just as blood runs in every vein of a body, in the same way, remembrance is merged in such a soul at every moment. This is known as constant remembrance, full of deep love in the heart. Devotee souls say of the Father, wherever I look, I only see you. In the same way, whoever sees such souls who are loving and equal to the Father will experience God, the Father, in their vision, words, and actions. It's like the daddies were so soaked in remembrance that when we were in their presence, we remembered Baba. It wasn't like we had to make an effort to remember Baba, but just in their presence, we felt Baba's energy. That is like this was so deeply absorbed in that remembrance. Such souls are known as those who are loving and equal to the Father. So all of you are embodiments of remembrance. You all have a relationship, and everyone also has a right, because everyone has the full right to the relationship of child and father. All of you say, my Baba. None of you say, my maternal uncle or my paternal uncle. So in Hindi, it's very nice, my mama or my chacha or my kaka or whatever. Therefore, because you have a relationship with a right, you have a right to the inheritance of all attainments. Whether you are those of 50 years or 6 months, by saying mine, you have claimed the right. So then, what is the difference? Baba gives an equal right to everyone because he is the bestower who gives infinite inheritance to everyone. So God gives. God doesn't say, this one, not so much, this one more. No, no. Baba gives 100% to everyone. Not only to you, 250,000 souls. So that was the number of the BK family at that time. But all souls become ones with a right. Baba has an even more limitless treasure store than this. So why should he give less? So although the bestower gives equally to everyone, there is a difference in what? Exactly. There's a difference between those taking it. It's an interesting paradox in a way. How can I take maximum from Baba? How can I take maximum from Baba? And I remember Baba, when you love him, yes, that's it. In every relationship, in everything I do, I bring him in. It's this courage to surrender to Baba. The more I surrender, the more I'm able to take. You know, and surrender is a very subtle thing, because I think it's something that Mohini Ben also raised, that we say we have love and we have faith in Baba, but to what extent am I truly surrendered to Srimad? You know, to what extent am I truly letting go of trying to control in whichever way and just surrendering to Baba Srimad? And Baba Srimad is very simple. Be so conscious and remember me. So to the extent that there is surrender, to that extent, the soul is able to take from God. The moment, as long as I try to control, I can't take from God. Yeah. So Baba's saying, Baba has an even more limitless treasure store than you. So why should he give less? So although the bestower gives equally to everyone, there is a difference between those taking it. Some use the treasure and inheritance of attainment for a task for the self and for doing service according to the time and their experience benefit. This is why they make Baba's treasure their own treasure. That is, they merge it into themselves. This is why by experiencing using the treasure at every moment, they remain happy and intoxicated. There is pure intoxication, not the wrong type. However, others stay in the happiness that they have found the treasure. It is mine, but it is only mine. Since it is not used for any task, that which is invaluable is simply accumulated in their stock. There is a difference between accumulating it and having the experience of using it. So one is I can say, oh, I'm such a fortunate soul. I have all these wonderful treasures. So I can take intoxication from that. But there's a difference between just knowing that I have it and using it. Because when I use it, then I'm actually applying. I'm applying my intoxication. I'm applying my faith. I'm not just knowing it and having it in that way. So Baba's saying, the more you use it for a task, the more the power increases. The others do not use it all the time, they use it sometimes. This is why there is a difference between those who use it all the time and those who use it sometimes. This is why there is a difference between those who use it all the time and those who use it sometimes. They do not use the method of using something for a task. So the bestower does not create a difference in giving, but there is a difference between those who take. Who are all of you? How do you see yourself? The ones who use it for a task, or the ones who remain happy seeing it in your stock. It's like I'm remembering Oliver Twist Fagan. He made the children steal for him, and at night he would say, "Oh, look at my treasures! Look at my treasures!" But he didn't use them. So the ones who use it for a task, or the ones who remain happy seeing it in your stock. Who are you? The first number or the second number? Baba is pleased that all of you are number one. So Baba's drishti for us is we number one. Or are you number one at this time? Baba always says, let there always be gulab jamuns in the mouths of the children. To do whatever you say means to have a gulab jamun in your mouth. People of the world say, let there be a gulab, a rose in your mouth. However, your mouth will not be sweetened by a gulab, a rose. So if there's always a gulab jamun in your mouth, you would remain constantly smiling. Actually, so gulab jamun is a special sweet round ball, fried and soaked in syrup, sugar syrup. Grace Bates' favorite, okay. Many new ones have come here to meet Baba once again. To those children who are celebrating a meeting this cycle with Baba once again, Bab Dada gives a special blessing of love. Constantly continue to experience the Father's hand on your head. Just to know Baba's hand of blessings are always on your head. Those who have the Father's hand on their heads remain constantly safe in every respect with the experience of this blessing. This hand of blessings is the instrument for your safety in every situation. This is the greatest security. And it's a very deep thing to really hold as an awareness now. Because the more the drama becomes unstable, we need to feel secure. And we can't feel secure in anything outside of us. Even our body is fluctuating, right? So where does our security come from? It's coming from our relationship with Baba, and to know Baba's hand of blessings is always on our head. This is the greatest security. Bapdada is pleased to see the courage of all the teachers in becoming instruments. You maintain courage and become instruments, do you not? To become an instrument teacher means to play a hero part on the unlimited stage. Just as on a limited stage, everyone's attention is especially drawn to the soul with the hero part. In the same way, the souls for whom you have become instruments in particular, and all souls in general, see you instrument souls with that vision. There is everyone's special attention. This is why teachers have to pay special attention to themselves. Why? Because to become one with the hero part in doing service means to become a hero. The teachers also receive more blessings. To the extent that you receive blessings, so it is necessary for all of you to pay attention to yourselves. This too is a special fortune according to the drama. So constantly continue to increase the fortune that you have already attained. Let it increase from 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 100,000, 100,000 to 10 million, 10 million to a billion to multi-billions. Baba didn't know the word trillion. Uh, so constantly continue to increase this fortune. And to increase it, what do you have to do? Just add zeros, ne? That's all you have to do when it increases. So this is known as being a worthy ideal teacher. Bab Dada definitely remembers the instrument children and also constantly gives the blessings of Va children Va. So if we say Va Va, then Baba says Va Va. So Bab Dada definitely remembers the instrument children and also constantly gives the blessing of Va children Va at Amrit Vela. So did your service hear this? To be a teacher means to be a number one server. Acha. To those from everywhere who celebrate a lovely and unique meeting every cycle, to those who constantly use the treasure of the inheritance for a task according to the time, to those who are extremely loving in their hearts and who become equal to the Father and give the experience of the Father through themselves, to those who are constantly embodiments of remembrance and so become embodiments of power to their devotees, to those who constantly distribute their attained fortune, that is, who increase their fortune to such master bestowers and constantly powerful children, Bab Dadas, love, remembrance, and namaste. And then Baba meeting double foreign brothers and sisters, groups of double foreigners. Yeah. In 1990, when Baba started coming again in a way, then Baba didn't have personal one-on-one meetings. So after the Murli, Baba would meet groups. Sometimes he would meet countries. And I think 1990, sometimes Baba would meet, just depending on the group that's there, but maybe all the sisters living in centers, all the brothers living in centers, and then all those that are in households. So like that, Baba would meet different groups. So do all of you consider yourselves to be very, very fortunate? Yes? You would never have even had the thought in your dreams that you would become such elevated souls. But you have now become that in the corporeal form. Look, Bab Dada has selected you jewels from so many places and made a necklace of jewels. You become threaded in the necklace of the Brahmin family. You don't ever leave the necklace, do you? What is the speciality and beauty of a necklace? The beads are close to one another. If the thread is visible in between and the beads are not close together, the necklace does not look as beautiful. So you are in the necklace of the Brahman family. That is, you have come close to all Brahman souls. Just as you are close to the Father, similarly, together with the Father, you are also close to the family. Because it is only at this time that you meet this family with this recognition and introduction. You enjoy being part of the family, do you not? Kribash? It does not, sorry, it isn't that you just enjoy being in remembrance of Baba. You don't have to have yoga with the family, but you do have to remain close to one another. Would there be any other family of 250,000 members anywhere else? I think we're over 1 million now. So in brackets, they've written now it is a family of more than 800,000. So do you like the family or do you just like Baba? You don't say, Baba, I love you so much, but I'm not too sure about the rest. Oh, so Uri's being clever here. We love Baba, but we like the family. There's a bit of thread showing there, so we have to like sort that one out a bit there. Uh, so Baba's giving a yukti now. Okay, he's giving a yukti. So Baba's saying, so do you like the family or do you just like Baba? Those who just like Baba cannot become part of the family. Baba Dada is always pleased to see the family. So seeing one another's specialities, you remain happy. So how do we have love for the family is by focusing on the specialities. Yeah. For every Brahmin soul, there is a thought, Vah, Brahmin soul, Vah. Look, the Father has so much love for the children. That is why He comes. Otherwise, He would meet you while He's sitting up there. He doesn't meet you while simply sitting up there. You came from abroad, and this is why Babdada also comes from abroad. He comes from the land furthest away, but he comes in a second. Do all of you experience the flying stage in a second? Can you fly in a second? So are you double light? You just have the thought and you reach there. As soon as you say the supreme abode, you reach there. Do you have such a practice? You don't get stuck somewhere, do you? Clouds do not sometimes cause trouble, do they? You are careful and also clear like that. Are you not? And then double foreign children receive a center as soon as you come. When we were in Madhuban, it was like the first lot of double foreigners were born in the mid-70s, Charlie Bai, Ken Bai, Maureen Ben, all of them. And then in the mid-80s, it was like another wave of Brahmins that was born. So a lot of the instruments in the different countries, actually, we were all born around that time in the mid-80s. So, and then we got very quickly involved in service. We were born and we just it was a time of million minutes of peace and global cooperation for a better world. So that's why centers opened a lot at that time in the mid-80s, very quickly. So double foreign children receive a center as soon as you come. You very quickly become teachers. And this is how you receive the blessings of service. You receive a special lift of receiving blessings. As well as this, as soon as you come, you become so busy that you don't have time for anything else. Therefore, don't be afraid of being busy. It is a good sign. Some of you say that you have to be very busy because you have your worldly job, you have to do spiritual service, and then you also have to do your own work. However, to be busy in this way means to become a conqueror of Maya. So be busy in the right way. And then there won't be space for Maya. You won't get distracted by other things if you stay focused on doing, the right things. Is this okay? Or is it difficult for you to do your worldly job? Where do you use the income you receive from your worldly job? Just as you use your time, in the same way, you also use your money, do you not? So, all three, your body, mind, and wealth, are used in this. They are used in a worthwhile way, and so do not become tired. When you open a center, so many souls are benefited as soon as they hear the message. So, mind and money are connected. Where your money goes, that's where your mind goes. There's a traffic control song, where your money goes, that's where your mind goes. So mind and money are connected. Your mind will go where your money is, and where your mind is, your money will be used then. Bab Dada is pleased to see that the double foreigners are busy using everything they have in a worthwhile way, in every way. And really, that was Daddy Janki's training. You know, every cent, every bit of our energy was always, she always inspired us to use it in a worthwhile way. All of you are good chancellors. Always remember that you are embodiments of success, and that success is always the garland around your neck. Before you carry out any task, first think that success is the garland around your neck. As is your faith, so will be the practical fruit you receive. Acha. Then another group Papa was speaking to. You love this sweet silence, do you not? It is because the original form of souls is sweet silence. So, are you able to experience the stage of sweet silence whenever you want? Can I just go and be still whenever I want? And do I have that capacity? Because when your souls become free from those bondages, you are able to stabilize in your original stage whenever you want. So, have you become free from bondage, or have you yet to become that? When you leave Madhuban this time, leave behind two words. So, which two words Baba wants us to leave behind? Why and what? That was last week. Ne? He said, no why, no what, and no want. Transform it to one. But today he's saying something else. Yes. So Baba is saying, leave behind two words, something and sometimes. You like this, do you not? Will all of you leave these two words behind? When you maintain courage, you receive help because you know that you have had innumerable bondages for 63 births, that you have this one birth in which to become free, and that the fruit of this is that you will receive liberation in life through many births. I'm remembering Daddy, she used to say with such intoxication, she used to say, I have white clothes, empty pockets, and I'm the sovereign of the world. And it was just this whole feeling that physically nothing, and there's that simplicity, but so full of that intoxication and power. Yeah. She always say, I have white clothes, empty pockets, and yet I'm a king. So lay the foundation here. It is when the foundation is this strong that it will last for 21 births. The more faith you have in yourselves, the more intoxication you will have. You have faith in the Father, faith in yourselves, and faith in the drama. You have to pass in having faith in all three. Acha. So each of you jewels has your own speciality. Bapdada knows the speciality of each one. Now, as you progress further, use your specialities even more, and your specialities will increase. In the world, money decreases as you spend it, whereas here, the more you use and the more you spend, the more it will increase. Why? Because we're not using it just to satisfy our desires. We're using it to bring benefit. So therefore, the more we use, the more it increases. The whole energy behind it is so different. So all of you have experienced this, have you not? So this year, remember this blessing. Nice, beautiful blessing Baba's giving us. I am a special soul, and I will use my speciality and increase it even more. So it's a good thing, good homework, if I recognize my speciality. Do I know how Baba wants to use me? So recognize your speciality and use it. So I am a special soul, and I will use my speciality and increase it even more. Just as you like sitting at the front here, in the same way, there too remain constantly close. Bapdada always sees everyone with the elevated vision of each child being a yogi child and also worthy. Acha. So the blessing is, may you be a well-wisher who stops worrying about the transformation of others and brings about transformation in yourself. So it's a good blessing. Our worry stems from our concern about others' transformation and not focused on ourselves. So may you be a well-wisher who stops worrying about the transformation of others and brings about transformation in yourself. To transform yourself is to have good wishes for yourself. It's an act of love for yourself to transform myself. To forget yourself and worry about the transformation of others is not positive thinking. First is oneself, and as well as oneself are all others. If you have pure thoughts for others but do not transform yourself, you cannot achieve success. This is why you have to conduct yourself with discipline and transform yourself. There is benefit in this. Although there may not be any external benefit visible, you will continue to experience internal happiness and lightness. It's a very good blessing in a way, because Baba's clarifying. It's always telling us, have good wishes, pure feelings for others, and that's almost like a method to finish karmic bondage. But I can only genuinely have good wishes if I'm checking myself, and if I'm shifting my own internal attitudes. Because sometimes we can say I'm having good wishes, but it's a bit of a condescending attitude. Oh, this one's having a bad time, so I'll have good wishes for them. And that's not genuine good wishes. Genuine good wishes is when I'm willing to see myself and shift what I need to shift in myself. And out of that personal transformation, I can then have good wishes for others. So there's the kind of sincerity behind, then those good wishes work. Otherwise, we can be kidding ourselves a little bit. And the slogan, if you constantly have enthusiasm for doing service, little illnesses will be merged. You constantly have enthusiasm for doing service, little illnesses will be merged. Om Shanti. So, as always, many subtle things that Baba's highlighted for us to really look into and check ourselves. But also, it's like each Murli is like stretching our mindset, and some mindsets are not to be stretched, but they need to be collapsed completely. And so really to see that I think in some ways that checking the chart we need to see is, to what extent is my vision the way Baba's vision is? Do I see the drama the way God sees the drama? Or am I still seeing things through the lens of my old sanskaras? And I think, yes, there will always be the influence of all sanskaras, but when I'm attentive, then I don't act on the old sanskaras. But I'm able to, like connect with Baba's Srimad in a way, and let myself like surrender to the process that God has given me. And I think that's a very deep journey in a way, that to what extent do I surrender to the process that God has given me? And each day's Murli is the signal for us. It is the indicator for us. Any question you have, it's like, just sit, have that question, and then don't think about it, but just go and listen to the Murli attentively. And you will get your signals that you need in the Murli. Because that's how Baba is guiding us in this time, Yes, Avyat Babdada is no longer coming, but whatever Baba needed to tell us, he's told us already. And it's now for me to tune in my intellect to receive what Baba's received, offering me as a personal guidance. So to really like tune in and be really attentive to the Murli, because my answers are there and my guidance is there and my signals are there. And then I can see that the more I'm in tune, the more I will be in tune what's needed in the drama as well. The best way to respond in the drama. So it is about tuning in rather than working with the very sort of gross approach, but it's tuning into that higher vibration. So let's have a few minutes of silence and see what touched me today. And then as we can share those points, then I'll share a little bit of my Madhuban experience as well, so that the souls on Zoom can also get the benefit. Shanti. Yes, what touched us today? Mm, yeah, this whole aspect that power comes to the soul when I maintain that awareness. Yeah. So, and it's our right, isn't it, as a Shiv Shakti, I'm the Shakti, but I need to stay connected with Shiva. Mm, mm, mm. What a shame. Yeah. So Radha's just highlighting very much that soul consciousness is an experience, very much that as much as we have the knowledge, but to what extent we have that experience. And so this whole aspect of loving the self, which is invisible, because we've been for so long engrossed in the physical, that we actually have to teach ourselves to love that invisible aspect of ourselves. And that then opens up also, I guess, in a way, love for Baba, who's invisible as well. Yeah, yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. So power comes through experience, and the word that resonated for Radha was surrender. When I'm soul conscious and surrender, then like it allows the power to emerge. Anyone else would like to share? Yeah. So faith in the Father, faith in the Self, and faith in drama. And we need to ask ourselves, what does that faith look like? You know? So faith in Baba is faith in Baba's Srimad, faith in Baba's teaching. You know, so to what extent I use that, it's a reflection of my faith in Baba. Very much. So it's connected to that. And faith in myself, what does that look like? It's beautiful. Yeah, it's almost in a way that I never give up. You know, it's like faith in myself, I think in some ways it's like giving myself the permission to adopt the vision for myself as God has a vision of me. Because our vision for ourselves at this point in time is dominated by our last few births. You know, and what did we not get up to, Amubi? so so like it's like, you know, allowing myself to have Baba's vision for me, because that then pulls me above. And faith in drama, what does that mean? How does that look like? And I think Brij Mohan Bai has, you know, he said something once in a uh, NCCC retreat, and it has become a slogan for all of us actually. He said, what is right in the drama, and what is wrong is also right in the drama. And so just that feeling that nothing is wrong. Drama is like nothing is wrong, and that is faith in the drama. That doesn't mean we don't do what we need to do. We must do what we need to do, but we mustn't let it um, affect the mind, you know, and affect our stage. Can I remain stable and do what I need to do? Because even in the yagya, there are many challenges that come up. You know, everyone has sanskaras, and everyone wants to have fun with their sanskaras before we go up to Paramdam. So there's a lot of practical things that we have to attend to. But can I do it by remaining internally stable? And that's where I think is the key thing, that I don't see anything as wrong, but I also see what needs to be applied, which principle needs to be applied. It has to be applied. That's my responsibility. Anyone else? Mm, mm. So the rosary that Baba was speaking, the necklace of Brahmins. Yeah, so 1 and 0, keep adding the 0, and then it grows your fortune. But you know this thing of the rosary and the beads of the rosary, and Baba saying how the beads have to be close. And there was a 69 Murli that I was reading, and Baba spoke in that Murli in a way that the power of the gathering, and that how the beads have to come close. And Baba asked, how do the beads come close? You know? And so he said, it's not like you write long letters to each other and you have gatherings together, like Ken Bai said, if you want to create unity in the family, yeah, have a picnic, but the picnic is not going to create the unity, you know what I mean? So what is the foundation for bringing about closeness? And Baba said how we need to match our sanskaras. And in that Murli, Baba said that in order to match your sanskaras, you have to match your sanskaras to Brahma Baba. And what was the foundation sanskara of Brahma Baba that created the yagya and kept the yagya together? It was a sanskara of renunciation. So the more that there is that deeper renunciation, the more it brings the purity of every soul's specialities closer together. And I found that very sort of insightful, because to create real unity, there has to be deeper purity. Otherwise it's very superficial. It doesn't do the real work. So when there's that deeper intent of renunciation and a commitment to that, then that purity is what brings the closeness. It was very nice, Murli, to study actually. Okay, anyone else? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So look at yourself, how you need to transform yourself. Don't worry about other people's transformation. That's where we need to be detached observers. Baba said in a recent Avyak signal that learn to observe your sanskaras and the sanskaras of others. Stay focused on what you need to do and just observe the sanskaras of others. That's key. In a loving way. If you keep Baba's company, so in Hindi, whenever the word observer is used, the word companion is used. So Sati and Sakshi. So if I stay in Baba's company, then I will have a compassionate observation of everything around me. I will observe the way Baba observes. I always like that Sati, Sakshi together. That it's not just observation by myself, but Baba's company, Baba's influence in the way I observe. Okay, so just a little bit of news on Madhuban. So I arrived in Madhuban, I think, on the second or 3rd of March. And, we were like the second batch, I would say, of double foreigners that came to Madhuban. Up until that point, it was mainly people from India that were living abroad and working abroad that came back to meet family, and then they came to Madhuban for a few days. But we were the first, like, real double foreigners that went, I don't know how else to describe it. And it was really, I think, Madhuban is, as Baba calls it, it's the land of tapasya. So you're really stepping into, into the gates of Madhuban. You felt the tapasya that had been taking place. And especially in the last 2 years, a lot of course, the Nivasis, were having a lot of yoga bhattis. But as India opened up a little bit from last year, Madhuban has only been having bhattis. So they have groups of souls from different parts of India coming, and they've been having bhattis. So it's like soaked with tapasya in a way. That's the only way I could describe it. And And it was like Baba was just waiting for us to come back home. That was the feeling. And the Madhuban Nivasis as well. They were so happy to see us. Really, even when I reached Ahmedabad, they were just so happy. Kept on giving me Sindhi halwa patoli and this and that. But it was just that feeling that we made it, and we back home, and that feeling that when we come back home, it makes Madhuban more complete when the double foreigners come as well. So, everywhere there was just the vibration was very powerful. And I felt while being in Madhuban that whatever aim you kept for yourself, I really felt Baba's support very tangibly and very powerfully. It was like I felt this time in Madhuban was a gift to really take that high jump for yourself in whichever you want to. And if you were sincere with your aim, there was a lot of support, subtle support that you felt from the atmosphere. And even just walking into Baba's room, it was just so special. Um, the first day I went to Pandu Bhavan to go and sit in Baba's room, I went in the afternoon, and the brother was cleaning Baba's room, so the doors were shut. So I waited outside, and uh, and then once he finished up in about 10, 15 minutes, I just felt like Baba prepared his room for me. So I was the first one to walk into Baba's room. And it really just like there were little things like that that you just felt that was like a special gift for you. And of course, while I was there were a few seniors that had come. Jayanti Ben and Mohini Ben were there, but they were mainly downstairs in Shantivan. Now that their role is of additional administrative heads, they are more stationed in Shantivan, meeting a lot of the teachers in that coming from India and the groups from India. So their time with the double foreigners is very limited now. We have to share them more. That was quite clear. But Brother Charlie was around. Sister Maureen had come as well. Sister Moira was there. So there were not many seniors, but Hemlata Ben was there, Mira Ben was there, um, Kusum Ben, so few were there. And I think it was just really that feeling of closeness, um, and it was the first anniversary of Daddy Gulza, and that was very special. That was one of the highlights of the time in Madhuban. Daddy Gulza, we all have had that experience of her gentleness, her power, and like she was very surrendered that she wouldn't allow herself to even have one thought that would be uh, a hindrance to a soul taking that experience of Bab Dada through a chariot. It was like when we look at Daddy Golza, and more, she became invisible, and it was just Bab Dada that became visible. That was the extent of the surrender. Uh, very rarely you would even see photographs of Daddy Golza. Most of the photographs are of Bab Dada. And even personality wise, she really became so invisible that when souls engaged with her, they felt Baba's presence. And so she was a remarkable example of that surrender. And so during the, the memorial day of her first anniversary, we were quite a big group in Shantivan. It was almost about, I think it was about 15 to 20,000 people in Shantivan, and not many of them wear masks. So it was quite interesting. So the double foreigners, we sort of had a separate area where we were seated, and then we had our lunch in Manmohini, and so we tried to sort of manage the double foreigners but separately. But in a way, it was nice to be back in the Mela again, and to feel the abundance of the Brahmin family. But the day of that particular Memorial Day, um, we offered Bhog and that in Gyan Sarovar, and then we came down later. And in the hall, when Mohini Ben offered Bhog and when Dadi entered Mohini Ben's body, it was a very special experience. It was different from when Bab Dada comes. When Bab Dada comes, it's very powerful. But there's a kind of intensity with that power. But when Dadi Gulzar came, the only way I can describe what I felt was the atmosphere changed completely. And it became so sweet. It was really sweet and gentle and yet powerful. So you really felt that this was Dadi in our midst and in our presence. And it was just lovely how she acknowledged everyone that was there, and we kept on feeding her all the toli, and so we thought, let us speak instead of feeding her toli all the time. But it was just lovely, the whole feeling of the family connecting. And even the doctors that had treated Dadi, um, she even acknowledged their presence in a way, and gave them fruit from the bowl tray or whatever. But their sharing was also very special because Dadi never expressed any pain, no matter what her body was going through in the last 3 years. And she always showed a lot of gratitude and also a deep sense of value for every soul that had treated her body. And that was what they experienced in their interactions with Dadi. And like the main surgeon, he's young, he's in his 30s. So he was very surprised when he was asked to look after Dadi. I think Dr. Ashok Mehta had spoken to him to make him understand who his patient is. And in the 3 years, sometimes he'd be very busy, and he made sure he went to go see Dadi every night. So sometimes he'll go at 8 o'clock at night, sometimes 10 o'clock at night, just depending on his time. Daddy would always wait for him. There was this very special connection with him. So the day when Daddy was leaving the body, it was like everyone, like you could see all her vitals were like slowly fading, and it was like she was almost gone, but she was still there. Her eyes were still open because the doctor was 20 minutes late. So when he came, she shared drishti with him, and then she flew off. And in a way, it reflected Daddy Gulzar's that deep respect for every soul, and what every soul does, and her way of acknowledging every soul. So that was a lovely experience of just being there and having that experience of Daddy entering Mohini Ben. And then, of course, her message to all of us. And it was a message that was echoed in everything that was being shared about Daddy. It was always, she said, no matter what happens, don't let go of your happiness. Value your happiness of being who you are as Baba's child and the fortune of who you are. And don't let anything take your happiness away. And that came as a message again and again and again in ways. And then what we did, we were a group of about 20 of us, and we did an overnight bati. This was on the evening of the 16th. So so from 10 o'clock at night we started, And we sat first by Prakashtam, Daddy Prakash Mani's memorial place. Then we walked to Shaktistam, which is Daddy Janki's memorial place. And so that was till about midnight. And then we had one brother came with coffee and tea and everything there in front of Avyakti Lok. So we could have a bit of a coffee break. And then we sat by Daddy Gulzar's memorial place for another hour and a half or so. And then we went to Daddy Janki's room. So Hansa Ben opened up that for us at 2:30 and sat with us. And then we went to Daddy Gulzar's room at 3:30 till Amrit Vela was over till 5. So it was a long bati. I must say by the time Amrit Vela came, we were like cross-eyed a bit. But it was really a highlight. And those of us who participated all felt, because at each place we went to, number one, because in Shantivan there's always so many people, you don't really get to really enjoy these memorial places, So we were able to almost like take the energy of each place. And I felt that each of the daddies, in a way, when we were sitting there, gifted us with the speciality that was at the heart of who they were, in a way. So it was like I really felt that kind of a subtle support and subtle gift and subtle blessing as we sat in these three places. But it really gave the feeling of on one level, yes, they're not with us physically, but subtly they are there with us. And the revelation of Baba and the work that we need to do, we're doing it together. It's not just us here in the corporeal, but a lot that is happening now, and a lot that is emerging as well that I'm noticing internationally. It's definitely the feeling of the Dadi's hand and the Dadi's blessings, and touching our intellects to do what needs to be done. So that was really, really, really nice. And it's just a very special, it's a subtle experience, but it was very meaningful, that particular bhati that we had. And we had a few opportunities with Mohini Ben and Jayanti Ben. Hansa Ben has really like created opportunities the way we would meet Dadi. So she's created that. And I must say, when I went to Dadi Janki's meeting room, where she would meet us. So they've got a translate of Dadi Janki and Baba there, and took a few moments of drishti. And, the feeling was that Dadi was there. And the same feeling you would get when you would meet her and greet her, that was the feeling. So really, I think the place is so energized with her vibrations, that there wasn't a feeling of missing her. Yes, you missed when she came up to Gyan Sarova and how she would raise the energy and things like that. You missed that. But really speaking, you just felt her presence very, very tangible still. Both the daddies, actually. Both of them. So it's a different time, and it's asking of us to uh, tune in at a different level, and it's a different ask of us as well. For the last chapter of the drama, and we say it's the last chapter. When we say it's like we can see the signs in the drama, but we don't know how long it's going to carry on. So it's just about being ready and present with it. Acha, so Om Shanti. And I think a nice aspect was that as much as there was sort of an intensity in terms of the effort, there was a lot of lightness as well. So it's a very lovely balance. that I felt in Madhuban. Everyone's quite focused on yoga and their efforts, but the energy, the atmosphere was very, very sure. Om Shanti. So we'll end up with a few minutes of yoga now.
Today's the day I will begin again, and every day I will begin again. The past is over and the future lies in the winding road before me, in the first line of this story. You're the only one who understands when I get confused and lose my way. I know you won't forget all that I am. I'll fail to love me as I am today. I'm sorry if my promises run dry and all my good intentions fade. But in my heart there is a place of truth. It's a space I've set aside for you. It's a place where